When I'm talking today, am I looking at Renee?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I mean, would you want to look anywhere else?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I didn't want to look anywhere else yesterday either, though. Okay. So my name is Dana Fitchett, and I work with Black Female Project. Before working with Black Female Project, I spent nearly a decade working inside and outside of schools and nonprofits that supported schools. In my experience, I actually think of a supervisor I had at a dance program that I worked at. She's like, Dana, you're a square peg trying to fit in these round holes. I don't know if you're gonna find an institution that really serves you in the kind of way that you need one to. As I went from place to place and just found different kinds of systemic and institutional barriers to actually doing the type of work that I wanted to do. I was like, you know, there's something to what Amy Spencer Watts told me, that these institutions don't seem to honor the ways I want to work. So I had moved from the East Coast in 2014, and a friend of mine who was also a coworker had heard about Black Female Project, and she was like, hey, I heard about this thing, you might be interested. So I went to an event and found out that Precious was running it pretty much by herself with some volunteer help, and I just offered to volunteer. I have always been kind of like the proofreader of the group, like, oh, I'll look at that thing before you submit it or send it out or whatever. So I offered to Precious that I could proofread or copy edit things before they went out. As I got more comfortable, we started building a relationship, I just started taking some liberties. And I would start just reworking language a little bit and trying to bring it into what felt like really the feeling of what she was doing with Black Female Project. And eventually she offered me paid work. She was like, you know, there's more of this work if you want it. That's what let me leave 9-to-5 life. I've been able to step into a life structure that is really in the image of the life of my dreams. And it's largely because of the type of flexibility and work culture and the leadership of Precious, just the world that she cultivates for us. We share a commitment to the happiness of Black women, you know? That's a commitment that's gonna unify folks in a certain way. Being a Black woman isn't a thing that we even have to talk about as creating issues for us, you know? So just the type of person who wants to dedicate their time to that is a specific person. Part of Precious's leadership that I really respect is wanting people to be where they shine. Everybody's coming to work doing something that they feel really passionate about. And I think that that also just allows for more authenticity for us to actually show up as ourselves with each other. We are good about, you know, coming back to our values, grounding in how we want to work with one another. But I really try to bring us back to that whenever it feels like we need to be reminded. So I try to be attentive to people feeling or seeming overworked or feeling like there's stress rising. That's not the culture that we want for our work. And Precious also often reminds us nobody's gonna die if we push out our work a little bit, you know? So I really appreciate that tenor of just keeping things in perspective, understanding that there's real life to balance with the work that we're doing. My writing is able to be as rich as it is because of the life that I live. If I were to cut off my creative aspects of my life or just cut off the social dynamic of my life, I wouldn't be exposed to the things that actually inform the perspectives that I have. How do I take in content and people and just what's happening in the world in a way that can actually make for more rich content, more representative content? Editing the inaugural story collection early in my work with the organization, it was a powerful opportunity because I got to read so many different women's stories and so many women who were in different types of work. A thing that I really started to see was, first of all, the commonalities in our experiences and just really being able to be like, wow, these things are really patterned. This is not personal experiences. These are things that are happening to us as a result of the contexts that we live in, not things that we're doing wrong, not missteps on our own behalf. The other thing that I really saw as a pattern that was illuminating for me was how often Black women would say well, I don't really know if I have a story to tell. I don't think I have much to say. And then as soon as the question started, it's there's so much story, and it really tuned me into not just the richness and the complexity of our experiences, but also the ways that we end up normalizing them. Also the importance and the power of having space to be listened to. We really won't unearth that until somebody gives us the space to actually write, share, whatever it is. One of the most ancient things that we know about humans is that we've always shared stories. AI, digital technology, all this other stuff is coming, and that's real, but there is also a real resonance for me around storytelling and coming together to be listened to. I feel really connected to the voice we've cultivated as Black Female Project, and I want to continue to feel connected to that. I really see myself just continuing to reach. I guess I'm doing this because it feels kind of like I have these tentacles into different parts of the communities that I care about. And that's a thing that I feel committed to, is like staying with the work I do, but also allowing the space for myself to expand in different ways. So I've learned that I can live the life of my dreams. Like, I've learned that there are ways for me to show up as Dana, to contribute the things that Dana uniquely has to contribute, and not have to stand in the image of what we're sold as like the right way to live a life. You know, that there is not one way. There's infinite possibility in how we can approach a life walk. Over the past 8 years, I've really been able to lean into trust that I can do life my way, and that not only can I do it my way, but that, I mean, it's much more exciting for me, but I also think that my reach and my impact is much more real when I'm able to live my life in the realest way possible.